This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, I'm back, but the offense leaves as soon as I come back, basically, because it seemed like the Mariners, while I was gone out of town, could score some runs, and they definitely could not today. Outside of a Dom Canzone solo shot and a Randy Arozarena 2-out RBI, the Mariners could not get anything going offensively. Bryan Woo was excellent. Questionable, but two big plays, I think, in the game that I could point to. And we'll get to those here in a second when we get to the turning point of this game. This is Anderson Hurst. To my left is Christopher Crawford. This is your Locked On Mariners postcast. We go live right after every single Mariners baseball game to talk about what we just saw. We're going to break down the biggest moments from the game, kind of like you're just hanging out with us right at a bar and you guys are watching the game with us. You turn to us and be like, all right, what just happened? So, Chris Crawford, what just happened? Tell me what's going on here.
This was a frustrating one, but it's kind of not in a weird way too. Like, I have to give a ton of credit to Kumar Rocker, man. He pitched really, really well today. And it was, as a draft Nick, it was kind of a fun reminder of what kind of stuff this guy has. Like, filthy. He can be filthy, and he pitched really well today. Now, that doesn't excuse the Mariners looking terrible for the majority of this game. And it's frustrating to see after you get so many base runners in the previous outing, not many chances today. Yeah. Not many chances today whatsoever. I was encouraged by what I saw from Bryan Woo. I was really encouraged by what I saw from Bryan Woo on this road trip, to be completely honest with you. But man, oh man, there's just something about these starts that these guys have, these impressive outings, and seeing them end up not mattering, or mattering less anyway, because you can't get anything done offensively. This is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's not a safe situation for Andres Munoz. I was happy they went to him in that situation, but he wasn't his best tonight either in that bottom of the 10th inning. He had a couple wild pitches. One of those big moments we're going to talk about, I think, is the wild pitch. You have first and second one out. You have the double play set up. You can have a lot more pitches available. You don't have to get a strikeout or a shallow pop out. You can just get a nice solid double play is in play. But when he throws that wild pitch, a slider that just he doesn't know where he's going 100% of the time. Cal's set up on the inside to Simeon, and he throws it, kind of starts way outside and barely gets to the outside corner. It just wasn't it from Munoz tonight. He wasn't awful by any means. He wasn't leaving pitches middle, but you just need him a little bit sharper than that in that instance against the top of the order.
I don't think there's any question about it. And I don't think it was a question of stuff. He gets that strikeout of Sam Haggerty, but then things go bad. Things go poorly. And Marcus Simeon with the most slap, hit you'll see in a very long time, but good for him. He goes the opposite way with that pitch, and all you got to do is put it in play, and you're going to get a chance to score a run. I mean, I don't have any long-term concerns with Andres Munoz. I know he's given up runs in his last two appearances.
None of them are earned, though, right?
But neither of them are earned. Now, one of the reasons that, well, you know what? We'll have to check and see if that run ends up being earned this time. It certainly wasn't earned yesterday because of that zombie runner. Everyone's favorite thing, that zombie runner.
But it was a zombie runner today, too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We kind of forgot it was the 10th inning.
I know.
Good job. That's why you needed to come back. Is because
thank you. Yes, I actually am good for something here because I saw that you did much better without me.
Oh, no. Maybe. No, it's just a case where I want him to start missing a little bit more bats. He didn't miss any bats in the previous outing. But it's hard to be too concerned about Andres Munoz considering how talented he is and how good he's been for the overwhelming majority of the year. But we're a daily recap show, and we could be frustrated that Andres Munoz wasn't at his best in back-to-back games.
Let's start with the start here. Bryan Woo, I think really, really good start from him. It's hard to put it into context because on one hand, the Rangers lineup isn't nothing. They have some dudes, but they've been bad this year, just overall. Their offense has been really bad. So, and they were talking about a little bit on the broadcast. For some reason, Globe Life Field's playing like a pitcher's park all of a sudden. I don't know if that's just because their offense is bad and their pitching's actually got a lot better, or if it is something to do with the ballpark. But whatever it is, Bryan Woo was good today. He had a really good command. The 2 runs ends up not being earned because of a play we will talk about in a little bit. He gets the 9 strikeouts, still trying to get that double-digit strikeout game for the first time in his career. But anytime you get 9 strikeouts, go 6 innings for the 16th time this year, you can't ask for anything more from your starter.
No, he's been fantastic. And they're just showing, they're about to do the replay on Root right now. He had a 0.47 ERA, I believe, coming into this one. Or no, that's now with the total. But 18 swings and misses. Like, the stuff was really good today and deserved better. Not only deserved better from the offense has to provide more run support for him, but also deserved better from his defense. And that's something we have to talk about in the second half of this show. One play. Now, to be fair, he makes a horrible pitch to Corey Seager after that one play, right? It was not a good pitch. And if there's one concern I have with Bryan Woo, it's the same concern I have with George Kirby. Sometimes you got to stop challenging dudes. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? I'm not going to let this dude beat me. And, I admire that you don't want to walk guys. I admire that you believe in your stuff that much. And I think confidence is a huge thing for Bryan Woo right now. I mean, that dude looks cocky as hell on the mound right now. And it's fun to see that his just persona has changed so much in these 2+ years that he's been here. But don't challenge that guy.
Yeah.
Don't challenge that guy, especially with the other hitters on the Texas Rangers just not being up to snuff. This is a lineup, all due respect to Brett Boone, and going from podcaster to hitting coach gives us all aspirations. But challenge those other guys. But that being said, a terrific start from Bryan Woo. He deserved better.
Yeah, I definitely deserve better. Let's do really quick. Let's do that big play, and then we'll talk about the offense a little bit after we give some love to our sponsors. But let's talk about that play since we are talking about Bryan Woo's start. Let's see. I think it was this 3rd inning, I want to say. I'll just kind of run through the whole sequence here with you. You got Alejandro Ozuna walks. Then Cal throws him out at second, by the way.
Awesome.
Higashioka flies out to center, so you got 2 outs. And then Josh Smith grounds the ball to shortstop J.P. Crawford. They give the error to J.P. Crawford, but I think there's a little bit of blame to go on both the throw and the attempted pick at first base. Break down that play, because right after that, Corey Seager hits a 2-run home run to make it 2-1 Texas. So what happened there? Is that a play you expect JP to make? Is that the right error to give it to of the 2 guys? Because, I definitely thought it was the right place to go, but some people maybe thought it was more of a Solano issue than a JP thing.
I think you can give blame to Solano for not saving Crawford there.
Yeah.
But the reason the error has to go to Crawford is because there shouldn't have been anything to save. That's as simple of a throw as you can make for a shortstop, man. That is just like a little league shortstop throw. And look, JP Crawford's been fantastic offensively, and many people disagree with the metrics that suggest that JP Crawford has been as bad as some of the other metrics suggest defensively. I'm somewhere in between, right? I don't think he's the worst shortstop in baseball or anything like that. But there's a reason why. Last time I looked, he was -7 in outs above average. That is horrible. And one of the reasons it's been so bad is because his arm is not good. Yeah. It is not a strong throwing arm, and that's not going to get better, folks. That is not something that, unless you're like really working that arm, like the solo flex, you're shake weighting it up for an entire offseason. We're not going to see JP Crawford all of a sudden have a cannon at shortstop. No. It's concerning, and that's a play that has to be made. Sure, Donovan Solano digs that out the majority of time, I would say. And he would, if Donovan Solano was speaking to the press afterwards, I'm sure he would say, man, that's a play I've got to make. But he shouldn't have had to make it. That's as simple a throw as you can make, and it ended up costing you the game. It's an easy out for as bad as this offense is, but if that play doesn't happen, the Seattle Mariners win this baseball game.
Yeah. Is that the reason why we lost, or is it the offense?
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay, but first, let's talk about game time because I love myself some game time.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where game time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can now splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game time makes it possible.
Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Anytime you can guarantee something for me, I'm more likely to buy from you, and that's why Game Time's so great because I don't have to worry about getting stood up. I don't have to worry about somebody selling me a ticket from 1984 or something like that. I know I'm going to get my actual ticket. I know I'm going to have a great view, and Game Time makes it nice and simple to make sure that I am comfortable in those situations.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use Locked On MLB as your code for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, make sure to create an account and then redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we talked about the play that, if you're going to zoom in on one play to tell you why the Mariners lost this game today, let's talk about, I think, the bigger reason overall the Mariners lost this game, and it's because they couldn't get anything offensively done, either on Kumar Rocker or on the bullpen and in extra innings as well. So what did you see from the offense today? If there was anyone who stood out to you positively, because I'm looking down the list, I see a lot of negatives.
I would guess that Randy Rosarina would be that one guy. Like he had a pretty decent day, and it was nice to see after his struggles yesterday. Big Dumper gets on twice. That's nice to see. Julio did lace a single, but had three other pretty middling at bats.
Yeah.
Crawford was really bad today, not just with the glove, but unfortunately 0 for 5 with those 2 strikeouts. Just 6 hits and 9 strikeouts against guys that should not be putting that type of stat line up against a decent offense. And whether or not the Seattle Mariners are a decent offense, I think remains to be seen, which is kind of crazy to see in the just literally one game over the halfway point. Can't believe we're already here, by the way.
Yeah.
But the offense wasn't good enough today. Just flat out, they've got to do a better job of creating more traffic and doing something with that traffic. Canzone hits the home run as well, but like
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, it's just kind of such a middling effort at best. And again, I want to give credit to the other people, right? This is not the Simeon Woods Richardson game where they were missing middle pitches all the time. Kumar Rocker pitched really well. That 6.13 ERA is not indicative of that dude's talent whatsoever. He can pitch, but not getting anything off Hobie Milner, not getting anything off of Chris Martin, not getting anything off of Sean Armstrong. That's where I really come down to it. That 10th inning we could talk about for a long time. And Dylan Moore needs to not be playing baseball right now. Dylan Moore needs to be on the bench looking at some stuff. And, I know a lot of people suggest DFA. That's just not going to happen. So let's live in a world of somewhat realistic expectations.
Why not?
Because number one, he's popular. Number two, he has a decent salary. And number three, he has a track record of some success. Like even still looking today, he's like 6th on the team in WAR because of how good he was in April and May, right?
Yeah.
It's bad, though. This June is as bad as I have seen any Seattle Mariner, and that includes the Jorge Polanco in May. Yeah. Now, it's a much smaller sample size of 31 at-bats here, but it's one hit. And I believe he struck out 18 times in those 31 at-bats. That strikeout today was just indicative of a guy who is just not a Major League Baseball player right now.
Yeah.
And sure, he plays a lot of different positions. And again, there is a track record of success, particularly against left-handed pitching. But he's just got to sit for a while, man. He's just not good enough right now. And that at-bat in the 10th inning was one of the worst at-bats I have seen from a Seattle Mariner this year, and that's saying something.
And I just keep feeling like I say that about his at-bats over and over and over again, because I can't even tell. Like, you gave the strikeout rates to us, and then I wonder how many of those strikeouts in the last 31 at bats you said are literally 3 pitches, because they just pitchers know dude can't hit anything right now, because it seems like it's every time.
I'm sorry for putting a comment here that has a naughty word. We apologize. Viewer discretion advised. All of that stuff. That was the time to bunt, and I'm not a big fan of bunting. Anders is not a big fan of bunting either. No. Why are you not laying one down there? Why are you not laying one down there for a chance to at least get that run and give Munoz the lead, man? I really think that was a big mistake by Dan Wilson there. And, I get having confidence in your dudes, and I think the Mariners still have confidence in Dylan Moore. I have no confidence in Dylan Moore right now. And I have been a bit of a Dylan Moore hater over the last few years, our buddy Nathan Bishop being the biggest Dylan Moore fan in the entire world. I like to make a little bit of fun of him when he goes through this stuff. But here's the thing. Will I be shocked at all if Dylan Moore has a July where he posts like a 900 OPS? Nope, because that's just been his career. It has been his career. He has been this dog, what player, and then come through in big situations late in the second half, and then he'll have a terrible September, and we'll wonder if Dylan Moore is apart, and yada, 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 circle of life. But right now, Dylan Moore cannot be used in high leverage situations. He can't. You have to. In fact, I was disappointed when they pinch hit for him. I would have hit Ben Williamson there. Ben Williamson's not a great offensive player, but he's a much better defensive player than Dylan Moore, and he's much more likely to put the ball in play. So, I don't know. It's just really frustrating, though, because he severely hurt the Seattle Mariners over these last few games.
Yeah, and same kind of thing as the JP Crawford Solano play. That's not the reason you lost this game, but it's you put all these little things together, and this is why you lose a 1-run game, right? And thank you, Carson, for pointing that out. I was even advocating for, how much I hate bunting. I was saying, you know what? Bottom of the order, it's Moore than Cole Young right after him, which I think Cole Young's been better recently, but still not an average MLB hitter by any means.
No. And real quick, I think that's also a case of Wilson just being like, we want you to get right. We're giving you that shot to get right.
You're throwing games to do that.
Yeah, you are sacrificing a chance to win by doing that. If it would have worked, it would have been we're praising Dan Wilson, but there's just no chance of it working right now. Yeah. This is a fairly large sample of just being a replacement level, doesn't even begin to describe it, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, and I don't want to go whole on Dylan Moore. Just he can't be used in big spots. Totally agree with you on that. I think that's the best thing we can say about that. You can still use him defensively as a substitute if you need it. If you absolutely are in a pinch, that dude can play a ton of positions. That's great. Whatever you need. All right, let's do unsung hero / villain, because I'm curious to know where you're going to go with this one, because you could go either way. I think there's a couple good shots for unsung hero, but then there's some definite shots for unsung villain as well. What are you doing?
So I think the thing about me, I was going to go with Crawford as unsung villain, but I think it's pretty well sung.
Yes.
I'm going to go with unsung hero, and I'm going to go with Gabe Spire. Gabe Spire was really
I knew you were going to go there. Yes.
Yeah, it was a very solid relief effort from him. He did a nice job of cleaning up a little bit of mess, Carlos Vargas. So I'll go with Gabe Spire as my unsung hero, because it was nice to see him pitch well after not pitching all that great yesterday.
Yeah, I'm going to go unsung villain, and I'm going to go the other end of that error. It's going to be Donovan Solano. I know he's been better recently, and he's starting to be an everyday first baseman at this point without Ronnie Perez in the lineup anymore. Yeah. Dude hits into 2 double plays, including one off of a leadoff single from Randy Arozarena, where it looked like we were kind of getting things going and you could take the lead late in the game. This is why the people that complain about strikeouts need to realize that there's situations where it's better to strike out and ground into a double play. Actually, it's every situation it's better to strike out than to ground into a double play. Because a strikeout is just 1 out, a double play is 2 outs, and it changes the entire outcome of the inning, I should say, not the game. Who knows if Randy goes around to score, if he doesn't hit a double, whatever. I'm not saying anything but still, it's you need to understand that like just putting the ball in play is not good enough in certain situations. In certain situations, right? And like I understand, like, and this isn't a shot at Solano. He's been better recently offensively, and he was on the other end of the error too, and he probably should have made that play. But like double plays kill this team, man, especially because there's not a lot of slug outside of Cal right now, and maybe Dom Canzone. So you need to string together hits, and when you get guys on base and then hit into a double play, you're ruining every situation you have to have a at bat with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, totally fair. And that was probably his. In fact, I don't think it was his worst game in June, no question about it. Because, he probably, if you asked him to his face, he would say, I probably should have made that play and then just had a dreadful offensive game. Yeah. And, this is the thing about doing a daily show, too. Like, Donovan Solano has been excellent. He was excellent yesterday. He gets the clutch hit that looked like it was going to be the game winner, but, doesn't end up being so because of Munoz blowing the save. Donovan Solano has been a very good baseball player for the month of June, but he was not a very good baseball player today.
Totally agree. And this isn't one of those losses, at least for me, where I'm like, oh my God, sky is falling. What is wrong with this team? Like, you won yesterday, go win the series tomorrow, and we're feeling great about this road trip, right?
If you lost yesterday, you're feeling terrible, right? Because this would be I'd be pretty close to apoplectic because of the way that this road trip started and the way it's finishing now, not so great. Still get a chance for a 6-4 road trip. 6-4 road trips are great, and 5-5 road trips you can get by with too. So go in tomorrow, but this doesn't feel like an end-all situation whatsoever.
Totally agree. And I know we mentioned it earlier, but Tan, just to answer your question, I'm not worried about Munoz. He was a little wild today. Still no earned runs in the last 2 games. It's the ghost runner rule. Like, and even the one that Simeon put into play, if you look at the actual pitch, it's like a foot off the plate. Like, there's no way anyone else puts the barrel on that. It's just it's a great piece of hitting in that situation. So I'm not worried about it. I don't know about you.
No, I'm not worried at all. I just, you're going to give up runs. It's fun that they're unearned runs for taking a look at the ERA, but like it's very hard for me to be too concerned about Andres Munoz. There is no closer controversy.
Got it. All right. As Cinema points out, hope we can get to lighter tomorrow. Maybe Cal can hit another salami off. That would be great. It's Luis Castillo versus Jack Leiter tomorrow. So I would say the Mariners have the slight edge in the pitching matchup, although Luis Castillo away from home is not as good as he is at home. But hopefully he can kind of figure that stuff out. We'll be with you guys tomorrow. I think it's 11:30 first pitch.
11:35. Yes.
11:35. Okay, so we'll be with you guys right after that final pitch, as we always are. It's great to be back. Sorry about me being sunburned. I'm really white. I'll see you guys later.